talk about It Welcome to Derry. So last night I finally caught up on the last three episodes because I know everybody was like, "Did you watch it yet? Did you watch it yet? Did you watch it yet? Did you watch it yet?" Like I was stuck. Did you watch It Welcome to Derry yet? Yes, I finally got around to watching, and I must say, this was a great season one. This might be blasphemous to say, but I actually think this show was way better than Stranger Things. Now, I'm looking forward to seeing Stranger Things, the second half of the show when it come out next week on Christmas. On Chrismica, if you want to call it that. Shout out to Seth Cohen from the OC. That's why I got to love that damn show. But one of the things I would like to say is because I was a little worried when I first heard about it and everything. I'm gonna be honest. Well, I think when it comes to it, regardless, I always like the first chapter with the kids, but then when you get to the adult part, it kind of falls off. And that happened with the original '90s Tim Curry miniseries, where the adult when the adults became the adults, whatever. I didn't particularly like that part of the miniseries, and I didn't like the adult part when Andy Muschietti did it chapter two. I just felt like it was just lacking, or maybe that's what it is. It's like the adults that was lacking, but they were able to find a balance with this. It's like yeah, you have the adults that were doing whatever, but you really paid attention and served the kids. And I am so slow because it dawned on me. It didn't dawn on me until like the final episode that literally. Maybe it's because it wasn't really mentioned that Pennywise, this creature, whoever he is, travels in. Well, he said that the past, the present, and the future is all simultaneous. So he literally traveled back in time, which is why at the end you saw Beverly Marsh, where she saw the woman hanging. And I was like, Beverly, what's she doing up in here? So that Easter egg, and then they showed the picture of Mike, where it was saying he was missing and all that other stuff. So I like a lot of those Easter eggs and stuff. Well, she was showing the girl with the I forgot her name, the one with the that gouged the eye out, because apparently that's her son in the future. And so I didn't realize that this show was basically about Pennywise going in the past to kill off the parents of the future losers club that was going to take him out at the end of it. So I don't know where they're gonna go in regards of like what season two is gonna bring and all the other stuff, but apparently Andy Muschietti, because it was a good scene, and I'm still mad because y'all killed Rich off. I was like, I was so mad when that little boy died. I was like, he was my favorite. I was like, he reminds me so much of me when I was a kid. A big old flirt, very much potty mouth, even though he wasn't saying potty mouth stuff, but he was a little, rebellious. And I like the little drum scene when they was in the juke joint before the racist showed up to find the little girl's father. So yeah, he was my favorite, and there was a scene in the finale that I was like my all time favorite. Like that will be etched forever in my brain regarding what happened with Rich. But let's get into the story. So. Andy Muschietti is revealing what he has planned regarding future chapters of the prequel series now that season one is wrapped. Now, in It Welcome to Derry season finale titled Winter Fire, Pennywise was vanquished, but only after it was revealed, excuse me, that the entity experiences time differently from humans. To it, all of time is happening simultaneously, past, present, and future. Pennywise knows it dies decades from when the series takes place, but suggests that its death may, in fact, be its birth and what led to the creature traveling back through time to kill the ancestors of the Losers Club. Now, talking to Deadline via FearHQ.com about introducing the idea that after being foiled in 1962, 1989, and 2016, so that's literally what is going to happen. Like, does that mean that we're getting a 19? Well, we already had the 1962. So is 20 season two going to take place in 1989, and then the finale one is going to be taking place in 2016. Wait, hold on. Let me just read it because they literally tell you what happens. So they said that I'm not gonna find out where the hell I was. Pennywise will next travel back to 1935. Filmmaker Andy Muschietti explained that the idea was very much inspired by Stephen King's It novel. He says his experience of time is non-linear. How is that and why? What is That's a whole exploration that we intend to flesh out during the next two seasons. But that was pretty much the idea from the beginning. He said the pitch to Stephen King was we're going to tell a story backwards, and it has to do with that hint. This begs well, obviously, so now going back on this whole thing, it's like, no, when you're talking about 1989 and 2016, of course, It Chapter 1 was 1989, It Chapter 2 was 2016. So 1962, of course, you had the whole situation of what season one was. So now he's going further back to like the 30s, where we're gonna explore that world. And then I guess in that situation, we'll go back to the 1900s when he encountered that clown who was I forget what the clown's name was in the franchise. Well, Pennywise the clown. So he basically just I was like, wait, I forgot the clown's name. Pennywise the clown. That's why he takes on that form, because we saw in that episode of he goes and encounters this kid and then takes him out into the woods, and basically that creature goes and embodies his physical form. So he says that we're going to know more about the Bob Gray of things, and we're going to know more about Ingrid because Ingrid was around in the 30s. Our second season happens in 1935. In theory, I think it's a pretty tragic character. She's a very specific, very unique character because she's a victim and she's a perpetrator too. Absolutely. She damn sure was a perpetrator because all this stuff where she truly believed, oh, I'm gonna see my father, and you sacrificing these little kids so that way you're able to see your father or whatever. I just thought it was just disgusting on her part how she enabled the situation, but she tried to act like, I don't know if I want to agree with this, but she's sitting there thinking that she was going to connect. But it's all about mental health. The show was basically about how fear is a motivator for a lot of things, and how he feeds off the fear, and how, on the other hand, with the military, how, the captain was using fear in this creature that he encountered as a kid as a way that he feels like he could control everything that was going around. But that creature was like, "Oh no, sir, you cannot control me," and ate him in that episode. And I like James Remar, but when he twisted and turned out to be the snake that he was, I was like, "Oh, if you kill him, I wouldn't feel no ways tied." So now they also said that she's tricked into thinking her dad is still there somewhere in the shadows of that monster, and she wants to liberate him. But the only way to see him and try to liberate him is by creating all these baits and all this pain, because she knows that he will show up. And that's what I liked about, which pissed me off about that juke joint sequence, but also why I understood why that happened, because that bitch, and this is why I always say, you need to watch them white women. Yeah, she was canoodling with that little girl's father, having an affair and everything. But you also use that whole situation of sending in the tip to the racists so they could go down there and create all this carnage, just so that way it could feed off of the evil that was happening in that time, and just so you can get a glimpse of who you thought was your daddy. And it turned out it wasn't, once you got to that point. But it would be interesting to see, like in season two, how they hinted at those things. They gave a teensy bit of the backstory. But now that we know that when season two comes, they're going to dive more into that, and more children will probably get eaten under her watch. And who are these group of kids that are around that time that we'll be able to see, who are going to bottle him up and put him away until, what we saw happen in season one. So it'll be interesting how they do all of that. And um then we get to the rest of the stuff. So now there's in a separate conversation with Entertainment Weekly, It Welcome to Derry showrunner Jason Fuchs said that the revelation that Marge is Richie Tozier's mother ties in with the mystery that Andy has been hinting at, which is why we're telling the story in reverse. They said the seeds of that is sown in the specific moment where it reveals to Marge and to the audience that it knows exactly where the story is going, and which raises questions certainly about where our story is going. Now, as Pennywise continues traveling further back, it's hard to shake the feeling that the monster will eventually find a way to free itself from the fate and live again in the present. What that will mean for the It franchise moving forward remains to be seen, but Warner Brothers Discovery clearly sees the value in Bill Skarsgård's now iconic clown. And look, I'll say for me, I love Tim Curry as Pennywise, but of course that was a different time. That was the 90s. And that was the first time we got to see a visual aspect of seeing Stephen King's book come to life. But y'all cannot sit up here and tell me that Bill Skarsgård eats as Pennywise. Like, to me, he is one of the most iconic actors that's working today. Like, he could literally come in and play a character and just embody that character. Him and his brother Alexander, great actors. First of all, that whole Skarsgård family, um, amazing actors. Stellan, they father. You got Alexander or Askars, Eric Northman over there from what was it? True Blood. And also he was in The Northman. And Bill Skarsgård has been in everything. I still haven't even seen The Crow, so I don't even know if he was good in that. Even though I heard the movie was bad, but I like what he did with this one. And another thing, since when? It wasn't just me, or did y'all think that that thing that you see that's lighting up? Um, why all of a sudden when people was touching it, it was like Gollum with the ring, like it was giving Lord of the Ring vibes. I'm like, child, y'all about to make this little girl Gollum, like my precious, like she was getting all evil and saying the most meanest things. Like I had that kind of vibe what that was going on, but I like the fact that you know what it was like they were just fighting tooth and nail to get that thing in that in the tree to destroy or put him back in his little cage, or whatever the case was, destroy the monster for now until I guess another 27 years, which was what because it was like 60 something, it was like the 80s, whatever, how they said in the next thing, that's when he wakes up again. But look, this shot right here, this is my favorite scene when Little Rich came out to his spirit came down to pretty much help his friends get that artifact inside, like and destroy the creature. How he was running past and gave him the finger. I live for that scene. That would have been like a scene when you're watching in the theater with a packed audience, and you see that scene come on, and the audience starts clapping. Like that, literally, what that would give you. This was like one of my favorite scenes in this whole thing. So here's the thing: what we've come to learn, especially when it comes to the It franchise, this franchise works best when you center it around children. When you try to center it around the adults to pretty much try to do everything, it kind of goes downhill. Hence, why a lot of people always feel like the chapter two side of it is always the weakest part, whether it's the book or whether it's the two, you know, halves of it, the miniseries from the 90s and the part two that came out in the 2000s or the 2010s, I should say. So, yeah, this scene really got me. I loved the show overall. It was a great season. And I didn't like the fact that, Rich sacrificed. Well, I was so sad when Rich sacrificed himself to save Marge. And they was like, I love you. And she was like, I love you too. And then he slammed her inside a little refrigerator and laid on top of it and pretty much died of smoke inhalation. But you want to know something? I'd rather he would have just died from smoke inhalation than getting eaten by that damn clown. So he went out like a gangster. I'll say that. But I liked his character. But then again, like we have to realize none of these kids are coming back for season two. So or maybe they'll find a way to bring these people back in some capacity. I don't know. But if the story's being told in the 30s, it's gonna be a whole new cast of people. But overall, I say this to you all. What did you guys think of this episode? Did you guys get to check out the final episode or episodes of It Welcome to Derry? I'm actually, oh, hold on now. I was about to close everything for a second. I was like, well, I was about to end the show by accident. But did you enjoy what you saw from the show? Is it up there like one of the greatest horror adaptation series, whatever, known under the sun? Look, after this, I will say this. I'm really excited to see what I think it's Jason Fuchs that is going to be the new showrunner over there at Crystal Lake. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what the showrunner of this show, Welcome to Derry, is going to do with the new Crystal Lake series. Because if you could take a show, I mean, you could take an IP or movie, whatever, and be like, why are they making this into a TV show? And you can find a way to really make us want to sit down and really dive into an 8 episode series about these characters that you would never think that you can create something remotely interesting revolving around them besides of what we saw of them in their film form, then I'm here for it. I'm looking forward to it. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.